Shut up. I'm
Link.
reporting live from the worst
Game
ever.
Hyrule Warriors.
And right next to me is Tits McGee from Whore Island.
Hyrule Warriors is fan service at its finest. Without a doubt, this game is the biggest love letter the Zelda series will ever get. Almost everything in this game is either a direct reference to something or someone in the Zelda series, which is already more than I can say for another crossover game made by Nintendo and a partner company featuring Zelda content. Smash Bros. Hyrule Warriors was originally released on the Wii U, got DLC, jumped ship to the 3DS with Hyrule Warriors Legends, got more DLC on the 3DS, and finally jumped for the last time onto the Nintendo Switch with Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition all over 4 years. And with 2 years passing since the release of the Switch port, many thought that this was the last we would see of the crossover between Nintendo and Koei Tecmo. That was until September 8th, 2020, when Nintendo randomly decided to drop a trailer for a sequel titled Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. The game would not be a crossover between Zelda games this time, but a prequel to the critically acclaimed Breath of the Wild. I've been a Zelda fan for as long as I can remember. The first game I ever played on my own was Ocarina of Time on my aunt's Wii when I was a wee lad. Ever since then, I've played almost every Zelda game released, so I was absolutely pumped for Hyrule Warriors when it was released on the Wii U in 2014. I clocked anywhere from 400 to 500 hours in the original game with my brother. To say the least, I really liked the game. So of course, I skipped on the 3DS port and bought the Switch port at launch in 2018. I only clocked 75 hours into the Switch port before dropping it and forgetting it ever came out in the first place. That was until Nintendo announced Age of Calamity. The announcement of Age of Calamity sparked a massive 1,500% sales spike in Definitive Edition sales on Amazon, and also prompted me to revisit the game on Switch. Well, you've probably already read the title. Without further ado, this is what Hyrule Warriors does wrong and what Age of Calamity can do better. Ah yes, going back to a prominent game from my childhood and playing it years later. What could possibly go wrong? Just a quick disclaimer, I just want to say that I love this game and appreciate everything that the developers put into this game, but goddamn, there's a metric fuck ton of content in this game. 30 unique characters, some even with multiple unique weapons, providing 43 unique playstyles, 189 upgraded weapons to collect, ranging from level 1 weapons all the way to level 4 plus weapons across the 43 unique weapon types, and 166 unlockable alternate costumes spread across 10 full adventure maps of content and a 32 mission story mode. This is easily hundreds upon hundreds of hours of content. I'm not usually one to complain about content in video games, but holy fucking shit, there is too much content in this game. Normally, I would absolutely love an abundance of content, but this is where Hyrule Warriors' most apparent problem comes to light. The overall repetitiveness and grindiness. Throughout 1,020 missions, yes, I counted, you will fulfill certain requirements, be limited to certain characters and weapons, and of course, kill millions upon millions of fodder enemies. Some of these missions will be simple quizzes that anyone with even the slightest semblance of a brain can solve, and others will be tedious missions that require you to find turncoat soldiers hiding in random keeps throughout the map. As you progress through the maps, the difficulty of these missions will increase, so I hope you can manage to level up every single one of the 30 unique characters evenly, or else you're going to have a frustrating time on later missions that limit you to certain characters. Or you could just focus solely on leveling up Link and just play multiplayer with player 2 being Link with the Master Sword, while player 1 struggles to even rack up 1,000 kills. This leads me to my next point. God damn! There are a lot of playstyles in this game. There are 43 unique weapon types across the 30 playable characters. Most characters like Darunia and Sheik only have one weapon, while this green bastard has 6. 7, technically? I guess the Master Sword has to be separate from the regular sword? Now, I should clarify that I think this game is very fun. Mowing through crowds of enemies as my favorite Zelda characters is a blast. But good god, every character's combo trees just feel so samey with only a couple exceptions. Big crowd in front of you? 4 light hits into a heavy just clears it. One guy? Usually just wait for an opening and spam 1 or 2 lights into a heavy. Boss? Same as one guy. It doesn't help that a good majority of the characters like Agatha, Tingle, and Ruto just aren't fun. Especially Agatha. Agatha just can't clear large crowds effectively, and can't 1v1, and also can't drain boss health bars fast enough either. You know, things that every warrior should be able to do. Tingle can't do much either, but at least he can take out weak points effectively and also take out crowds. I'm thinking this is just the result of there being too many characters in this game. With this many characters, not much to go off for their moveset, and a very simple control scheme, I feel like characters were bound to feel samey eventually. Now that I've said everything that I can about the Definitive Edition, I feel like I should finally move on to Age of Calamity and what I hope to see improved. Basically, what I'd like to see in Age of Calamity is 1. More interactable environments, 2. Fewer characters to make room for more unique movesets for every character, 3. More complex gameplay, and 4. Overall, make it feel more like a proper crossover between Dynasty Warriors and The Legend of Zelda, instead of a Dynasty Warriors game with a Zelda skin slapped onto it. While I was writing this video, Nintendo dropped multiple trailers and even a whole-ass demo for Age of Calamity. And so far, Age of Calamity has already fixed most of the major gripes I had with the first Hyrule Warriors, which from now on I'm going to be referring to as just Hyrule Warriors. Unlike most spots in Hyrule Warriors, I can actually pinpoint spots in Age of Calamity that were in another Zelda game. Furthermore, I can actually interact with the environment and even collect stuff if I do. So far, the environment has even been interactable to the point of directly affecting combat. Hell, I can even wall jump as Link. Plus, there's even an incentive to explore the maps in the form of hidden Koroks. What do? Fuck if I know. As far as I'm concerned, they're literally just shitting in your hand and dipping. Just going off of what's been revealed so far, it looks like we're not going to have a massive roster of characters like the original Hyrule Warriors. As of me writing this, the only characters we officially know of are Link, Zelda, Impa, Mipha, Daruk, Rivali, and Urbosa. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is very much appreciated as it has made room for making combo strings more complex and free-form. In the demo, every character uses the Sheikah Slate differently. For example, Link's Magnesis has him grab every metal object in the area and swing them around, while Impa's has her build a giant sword out of all the metal objects and slashing enemies with it. Plus, the addition of magic rods provides an extra layer of depth as they react differently depending on the environment. Fire rods burn the grass to create a large area that damages everything that it touches. Ice rods create larger ice spikes when used on water. Lightning rods create a large dome that will shock everything when it comes into contact with water or metal. It just feels nice to know that every character is going to provide a very unique experience for everyone playing. When I say Age of Calamity was a breath of fresh air for me after playing 100 plus hours of Hyrule Warriors, know that I truly mean that. Playing this game's demo was everything I could have wanted from a sequel to Hyrule Warriors. It's so different from the original, I almost feel like Nintendo and Koei Tecmo were almost embarrassed by the original game. This game shares almost nothing in common with the original game besides the Zelda franchise and the Warrior-style gameplay. While the original Hyrule Warriors combo strings feel simple but effective, Age of Calamities feel freeform and can change to fit someone's playstyle. It almost feels like... It almost feels like Breath of the Wild and its mechanics were adapted into a Dynasty Warriors game. It all makes sense now! Gameplay mechanics that players can just mess around with freely, unique playstyles, rewards for exploration, an interesting story, a twink you can dress up, snacking mid-combat, Korok shit! Wow, this sounds like the perfect Zelda Musou game. Surely there aren't any major problems that would turn anyone off of the game and also make the game look horrible, right? Right? Surely there aren't any major performance issues, right? Currently, my only major gripe with Age of Calamity is the unfortunately abysmal frame rate. This game caps out at around 30 frames per second and frequently dips. These dips can be extremely atrocious at times too, especially when playing multiplayer. Hopefully the Big N and Koei Tecmo can fix the frame rate before the game hits shelves on November 20... Hopefully this can be fixed by next week.